first topic, product market research. You want to talk a little bit about that? First thing under product market research on this list here is competitive analysis. Josh, you want to talk about some of the ways that you like to do competitive analysis and do some market research?
Sure. Yeah. A lot of Googling, a lot of using AI. You can, so when we talk about competitive analysis, a lot of people go, and before we go out and we build a product, people need to understand what the marketplace, like who are the players, what are the positioning, what are the things that what are their target audiences. So when you're developing a product, you're not going out into a marketplace blind, where it's like, there's something that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've seen entrepreneurs do is they go, I've got this great idea. And then they don't realize they're like, that already exists, like exactly how you're describing it. However, what I will say is, even if something exists, it doesn't necessarily mean not to do it. And I think you would agree is like, that could also indicate there is a market for it. And it could be a bad thing if you're the only person, because then you go, there's a reason why I'm the only person. So, but doing the competitive analysis of, a lot of times I will Google, if try and use different keywords and then try and Google and see if there's products that exist in that space, and don't give up after the first results return nothing and be like, there's nothing here. Like keep iterating and keep searching and then using the web to do it. And then oftentimes when you find a couple, you can then also search the word like the product name alternative and then go down that road and find all the alternatives. And then once you find it, and if there's a key, a lot of times in your journey, you'll find these keywords of finding out industry lingo you might not know. You then use that to search or use ChatGPT and be like, hey, give me a top 10 list of these competitors. The thing that's a little bit you have to be aware of, which using AI is, depending on which AI you use. If you use ChatGPT, it's not always up to date, as we know. Yeah. So how about you?
Yeah. I'm going to back it up one step, and just the concept of competitive analysis. Evan, have you heard that before?
I have not. No.
Good.
Please explain.
Good backing up. I went right in the weeds.
Yeah, you lost me immediately.
All right, back it up for us, Bryce. I went 2 weeds.
Yeah. So a competitive analysis, this is going to be a step usually really early on in the process of building your business, where you're going to look at who else out there is already doing something like that. Where we would like to start, Josh and I like to start, is with what is the problem to be solved, and then who is already solving that problem in some way. So yes. Evan, maybe we can workshop something here. Give me an example of a problem in your life. Don't go too deep, introspective, but
I can't wait for
problem in my life.
Yeah. Maybe something that happened on the drive-in today or this morning.
It could be simple. It could already be solved too.
Yeah. Okay. My car doesn't heat up fast enough.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So that's your problem, is your car doesn't heat up fast enough.
It's no one else's. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
my car's
so the naive entrepreneur would say, I've never seen anything like that. This doesn't exist. I'm going to invent it and I'm going to solve this problem, right? They just go out blindly, and then they, hopefully they don't do this, but they probably go dump a bunch of money and time into it. But what's smarter is to do a competitive analysis, talk to other people who are experiencing the problem, do some research, and find out how are other people solving the problem today. And they might tell you, oh, I bought this little gizmo off of Amazon, or I upgraded my car.
Or I use a coat.
Yeah, exactly. So the language Josh and I use around that would be, you could call them competitors, you could call it existing alternatives, but these are solutions already out there for the problem. So you want to do some research on them and start to build out the landscape of who's out there already solving the problem. So
I think your example of the problem of heating a car is a really good one, because one of the biggest mistakes, especially if you're an engineering mind, is that they want to go build it immediately, like you just said. And so understanding that there's the alternatives, like the simplest path, I joke about a coat, but like some people even miss that. They're like, oh, I'm going to go build this external heater that's plugged into your car or run a wire into your house. And they're like, this is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And you're like, why would you do that? You just put a coat on, So, and then everyone else finds it clunky. So it's such a good example of, heating your car. Seems so simple. So
Yeah. So does that make sense as a competitive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I lost
there.
you in the weeds, man.
Now we need to
got
go
in the
back
thick of
to
it
Josh's
fast.
part.
Well, how that relates is once you identify that you have a need, start with like you said, start with a problem, and then figure out what alternatives. And a lot of times you can do that simply by just asking people too, like you said. So asking people, researching what's out there, going from there.
Yeah. I will I'll bring up something on the screen here to show you what a competitive analysis might look like. This is like a very simple version of it, but a lot of times
It's really blurry, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know, I could probably find something better.
Down to the right side, maybe.
Whatever.
I'm being super picky. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good enough. It's good enough.
Okay. Fine. The concept, maybe I can open this in the new tab. Open image. New tab. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Oh wow, it's even worse. It's even worse.
All right. Tools, size, large. Maybe this will work a little bit better.
Oh, there we go. Maybe. There's
Okay.
no large size competitive analysis.
All right. We might just have to bring up one of our own in the future. Maybe after a break, I'll bring it up. But were you pointing at something?
That one's fine.
Yeah. So
It's okay.
basically, a lot of times people visualize a competitive landscape, competitive analysis as just a grid, as a matrix of here's everyone else who's out there. Here are the features they have, if they do it or they don't do it. Sometimes it's represented like this. Other times, like I was trying to show earlier, it would be like a check mark or an X next to whether or not they do that feature. But you want to list off your competitors all in one place and start to understand what they do and don't do, what their gaps might be.
I think another common mistake people make is that almost every single entrepreneur that has an idea, well, I wouldn't say every, a lot of entrepreneurs will make the mistake of they'll have these product matrices and then they'll say, see, this is a good idea because we have the most check marks.
Yeah.
I would call that the feature myth, where it's like, hey, we're just going to do everything on here, but we're going to do add 3 features, so.
That's pretty much exactly what this is, right? This is the stereotypical pitch deck competitive analysis.
Yes.
Where you show your top 3, 4 competitors and they're all missing something, but you have all the check marks. We do it all.
We do it all.
Yeah. And Josh and I, we don't love that. That's almost a red flag to say that you do everything.
Yes.
Especially if you're undercapitalized and you're going against companies that have billions of dollars. But yeah, this is typically how it's represented in a deck. Does that kind of make sense, Evan?
Yeah, I see those all the time. Yeah.
Go to a
Now I
site,
know
they compare them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially with phones. I feel like with phones,
It's true.
Or just the check marks all over. Like, yeah, look at all we have.
Yeah.
Everyone else has. It's funny if they compare iOS to Android. They'll both have the check marks, right? But they're just in different spots. So they're like, we're better than this and we're better than that. So they all have these check marks.
Yeah. So I don't mind when it's all green check marks on a website and you're trying to convince a customer.
Yeah.
But when you're thinking internally with your team or talking to investors,
Yes.
I don't love seeing
No.
all check marks everywhere. So in order to fill out this grid, though, you need to go do some research, which is where
Yes.
Josh was starting. Go out to the internet, look up who's already doing these things, do some interviews.
We call that desk research. So there's a lot you can do just from your desk, even without going to talk to people. Under an hour, you can do a ton of research, but there's also it should be backed up by talking to customers.
Yep. I'm going to give an example of that. So there's a trick right now with Google search that's kind of cool. So let me try to make this a little bit bigger if I can, but let's go back to Evan's example, how to warm up my car faster, or would you phrase it any different way? If you were going to go to Google to try to solve
how
your
would you
problem?
solve it? Is that what you would do?
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate to what I would put.
Yeah.
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 So first, start typing and then see how it's auto completing. See if there's any other phrases or any obvious solution that just pops up right here. So, we can see the problem is really in winter. People are not asking this in the summer. So you could change your search to that, but we'll just go with this for now. Then there's a section here in Google search results that says people also ask. You can look at these to see how other people are approaching the problem. And then if you click on one, like how do I heat up my car fast? And then you collapse it, it actually adds more questions related to that. So this one does like revving your car, warm it up faster, and then I collapse it. I'm going to start to see more like, is free revving an engine bad? So now you're starting to get this matrix of like adjacent problems and ways that people are thinking of solving the problem today. So this is one little trick. This is also super helpful for creating content or SEO stuff because you know what other people are asking.
Another thing that I saw in your search results, if you go up to, put your cursor in how to warm up your car faster. Reddit is the second one. Just click that for a minute. Another pro tip, like Reddit is a great place for obviously people talking about the problem. So I like to go here, but then even when you go to the problems, you can as you discover these alternatives, if you're trying to build a product, you can discover people talking about the products and then understand why do they like them or why do they hate them. And that can generate more opportunities as you're trying to think of where you need to position things. I'm just curious now that we're on that topic. Google car warmer. I'm curious. Like that's what I think. If you had a product, would that be the product you would search? Car warmer.
I have thought about this already, and
let's hear it.
well, I just thought I'd just get like heated seats.
Oh, see,
like,
look at that.
Oh, an overlay, like just stuff you can put on the seats.
See, these are
that heat them up.
Is this? Would these solve your problems?
I don't know if I want something on. It's not that big of a problem.
But yeah, these are really interesting because like that fits in your cup holder, right? The third one over.
Yeah, I don't really like that one. I don't know about you.
That's really interesting. I don't think I would use any of these, but it's just, I'm just curious. Like, so the other thing I would do is like you click on the Amazon.com link and then go to the like the reviews, check out the reviews on that bad boy and then figure out like how are people using it and how they hate it or how they love it.
Right. This was the third recommended product on search, but then it's only a 2.8 rating.
Exactly.
So obviously the sentiment is pretty low. So it doesn't defrost, doesn't produce any heat. So this is just not that good.
No.
So you could think about going to market with a similar product, but just to do it better. That's the better mousetrap concept. So do the same thing someone else is doing, just do it better.
Yes.
Build a better mousetrap and you'll catch more mice. So you know, that's a really good call out. Going to the reviews on Amazon.
Yes.
So much insight there.
Tons of insight.
Yeah. But what you can see here, like going back to the competitive analysis, the landscape, the grid, you can start to see all the different form factors for the solution. You're not seeing coat here, which would be the number one way people are probably solving the problem, like just dress warmer. But you see all these gizmos and gadgets. You can start to lay them out. You can say, it does this, it costs that much. Here's how it's being positioned. So
yeah, it's almost like you first want to ask the question, how to make your car warm faster in winter, and then see that's the problem, right? This is the solution. You're searching for a car warmer. You know, it's like that's a solution, and it's like whether or not, like we saw 2.8, people actually like it and use it. Different story.
Yeah. Well, you could really, you really dig deep on the problem too. You could say, is the root of the problem that you need the car to warm up faster, or is it like you need your windows clear?
That's what I was going to say.
Or is it that you are cold, right? Like so you can just start asking all those questions.
Yes.
Before you go and start building something.
Yes. Because maybe, you know, like you said, maybe their windshield is always, they just hate scraping all the ice off of it.
Yeah.
Maybe the simple solution like they have here is like a blanket. Okay, at night, throw a freaking blanket on your, you know, as simple as that.